Alright guys, so today we got a unboxing. Now this is a milestone that I finally hit, and it took me forever. So the other day I actually got a call from a Rolex, and Rolex hit me up and they said, hey man, we got your watch that you've been waiting for. So I was like, alright, should I pull the trigger or not? Because it was one of those situations where I have the money but I didn't want to spend the money. And it took me like some time to actually get this watch, but I finally had to do it. But I want to start from the beginning with Rolex because it's kind of unique. For some apparent reason, with Rolex, you can't just walk into a store and get a Rolex, believe it or not, right? And also depending on the type of Rolex. But let me just show you this. Look how beautiful this casing is. That's pretty dope, right, Rudy?
That's nice.
Yeah. Now this watch here. Look how gorgeous this is. This is a day-date presidential watch. It's 18 karat gold all the way across with flawless diamonds. And as you can see, the bezel, beautiful diamonds, and also take a look at the dial. You got the diamonds too as well. But like I said, this is actually a milestone for me, right? And this video is not to flex or anything like this, but I just wanted to share a couple things. With Rolex, I've always wanted one. The reason why is because I don't know if it's an Asian thing or not, especially with Rolex. I feel like by having one of these things, you could literally go into a room and people that got money, they know you got money. Because this is something that you can't just get, first of all. This is hard to get, this type of watch, right? And all this is just a way to have a conversation piece, but also for me, it's to let me know like, hey, I finally made it. But I'm gonna start from the beginning. So I literally thought I could go to a store and buy a Rolex watch. It didn't work that way. Now I went over to Santa Monica. I went over to the Rolex dealer, and they got me on the list, but I had never heard anything. Never heard anything from them. I went over to Caesar's Palace, got on their list, never heard anything from them. I went to Hawaii. And these are actually the retail dealers. So the one in Hawaii said, hey, I can't even sell it to you because you're not a resident. So we won't even sell it to you.
That's crazy.
That's how crazy this is, right? So how I was able to obtain this watch, believe it or not, I went on a listing appointment. And you know that Invicta watch I had?
Yeah.
So I was wearing that, and the client asked me, hey, what kind of watch are you wearing? I was like, hey, I'm wearing an Invicta, but, you know, I want to get a Rolex, but I'm having a hard time. She says, oh, that's funny. I actually work for a dealer, right? And she works in the high boutique luxury industry. So it's a whole different ballgame. So she literally had to refer me to somebody that worked in Rolex. But how it works with Rolex is you got to know somebody that knows somebody. So if you walk into a Rolex store, you're not buying a Rolex. Also depending on the model. So Rolex dealers, right, you can't just order your Rolex through a retailer and the dealer sends it out. The Rolex company, they only send so many models to certain retailers, right, the stores. And once they get them, right, what happens is the salespeople within that dealer, there's a hierarchy, which means you may have like 5 salespeople. And then what happens is the guy that's on top of the food chain, he will have the opportunity to sell that watch when that watch comes in, believe it or not. So what happens is a salesperson may do another deal with another salesperson that is up, that has the opportunity to sell that watch. He may have to give up some of his commission in order to sell that watch to his client. So first of all, I had to know somebody that knew somebody. I literally had to build a rapport with that person, right? After building that rapport, the person that I found, he had to have some sort of pool within the sales floor. And the reason why is because this is what's happening. You have, and this is what I'm being told, you have the Russians and also the Chinese mob. I don't know how true this is, but they already have established relationships with the top salespeople where as soon as a watch comes in, they're constantly just buying the watch cash like this. Because out in the open market, what they are actually getting for it it's anywhere from 10, 15, even 30% more, believe it or not, right? Depending on the watch. So what's happening is they're selling it, they're making a commission, and they take it back out and they sell it in that second market. For me, I could have bought this watch on the second market. However, I feel like you end up losing the value, and I want to make sure when I get the watch, it is, signed off to me, or the certification is under my name, versus selling it to the secondary or buying it from the secondary marketplace. And I also noticed that if you buy a watch from Rolex and it is assigned to you and you sell it to the open market, you make $20,000. If that person goes back in, ends up going back to Rolex for the warranty or something like that, now if you want to go back and buy another Rolex, you won't even be able to buy a Rolex because they know that you sold it to the secondary market. So that, I think that's where the value comes in, right? This watch, believe it or not, literally took me about 18 months to acquire this watch. Now, there were watches that were coming in, and I had the opportunity to buy other watches, but man, if I'm going to spend this kind of money, and I'm going to get into it here in just a second, of how much this actually costs, it just wasn't worth it to me. So I wanted what I wanted, and at the end of the day, I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at today to accomplish this watch, and this is the reason why it's that milestone. But they called me yesterday and they're like, hey, your watch is in, and I got a little bit of money, but at the end of the day, I knew that this opportunity was going to come, and I feel like that this is not only an accomplishment, it's not only a milestone. However, people say that this is an investment, but I believe that this is not an investment, because for me, investments is actually what makes you money. This doesn't make me money, right, on a monthly basis. However, I feel like this will store your wealth as far as later on down the line, if I need to liquidate it, I can liquidate it. Believe it or not, I already have an offer on this where I can actually sell it right now and make 15 grand.
Wow.
But this is one of those things I'm not going to do it, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. Because I literally waited like 18 months just to get this watch. Like, that's how long it was. I had to find the right people. I had to knock down their door. I had to build a relationship. I also needed to make sure that they knew, or I knew that they had the opportunity where they could even get the watch. So, dude, it was an uphill battle. But, anyway, where was I going with this, Rudy? I lost my train of thought.
You was talking about storing wealth, building wealth.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
a milestone.
So, this watch right here, believe it or not, when I was talking to the guy, he was talking about how Rolex, number one, I just want to share this real quick, how Rolex, they'll do a 5-year international warranty, and basically if there's anything wrong with the watch, you come in, they take care of it. The other thing I want to mention that he was telling me about with Rolex, they actually have this green tag. I should have showed you this green tag here. They go through a whole process of, when they build these watches, apparently it goes through like some sort of quality control. And they get these like this green certification tag, right? And basically it goes through like three different departments for like quality control for like the movement, the watch. They like really inspect these watches here. So this is what this tag means. I didn't know that. Let me show you this certification card. So basically it looks like you get, I won't show you the number on here, but it looks like you get some sort of card here.
You keep that in your wallet or something?
No, you just keep it in the back of here.
Okay.
And you know what? I didn't even get a chance to look exactly how much this thing actually costs with this receipt. So the total price, so online with this watch, believe it or not, was $52,000. But sales tax was here, which is like 8.25%, came out to $4,782.13. But remember, I said this was actually $52,000. However, here the retail price was $57,100. So what does that mean? So there was what, a $5,000 spread. So this is how they make their money, right?
So it's like a dealer markup?
Yeah. So it's the dealer markup. So they made their $5,000, which is totally understandable.
Yeah.
But then we don't know if my sales guy was up next to even sell this watch, or if he had pull, so
Okay.
he had to go up to the hierarchy and say, hey, look, let me sell this watch to my guy.
Okay.
I will give you a commission.
Okay.
So I didn't know this. It was kind of fascinating
It's
how
like selling cars, man.
well, basically,
Yeah.
it was just very fascinating how these things work. And also, the other thing is that if you spend over $80,000, which is kind of crazy to me, Rolex gives you this pen.
Oh, dang.
So I didn't spend 80,000. The total was 61,000, but these guys were cool enough. They're like, hey, we're gonna give you this pen, but the requirement is $80,000 because we know that you're gonna come back and you're gonna buy more watches. So here is a pen, which is, I was like, the color on this is like a hunter green, which is, I was like, well, why green? And apparently it has to do with something like with wealth and like money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's what they were saying. So it also says like Rolex over here. So I guess this is a green ballpoint pen that I'm gonna start using because I think it's kind of cool.
That's baller, bro.
I don't really like it though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
you know what you should do? Like, sign your big deals with that pen.
well, I'm gonna use it for everything.
Yeah.
At this point, you know what I mean? You might as
Right.
well. But okay, so where was I going with this? So another thing is that when I was actually looking at the watch, first thing when I seen the watch, I was like, dude, I'm buying this thing.
You ran out of here yesterday pretty quick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They emailed you or something, yeah?
Well, they sent me a text like, hey, your watch is in, but I was thinking about it. Next thing you know it, I was like, all right, guys, I'm out.
Yeah. I told
Rudy,
you
everybody's like, oh yeah, these guys are gonna.
And once you touch it, because it had that face you wanted, that champagne color face.
Exactly, that champagne dial.
Yeah.
Now the funny thing about Rolex is that obviously these type of companies, they analyze their clients, and when people actually get into Rolex, this is more like a lifestyle, and they look at a customer and they realize that customers will start off with a Rolex watch. By the time that they end their life, they will actually end up with a certain type of Rolex, believe it or not. Like, that's how detailed this company is. And typically he was saying that a lot of people that get started, they get the entry level and they go into the mid, so they'll start off with like a $20,000 watch, follow up with, or actually like a $10,000 watch, follow up with like a $20,000 watch, and then like finish off, with like a $40,000 watch, $50,000 watch. Now, for me, this was such a sense of accomplishment because I didn't get into the entry. I just went for the gusto, right? Straight to the gusto,
baby.
Straight to the
finish line.
Yeah, straight to the finish line. And I asked the sales guy, I go, so what's next after this? He goes, basically for you, there's really nothing left. At this point, it's more of like antique watches, right? Like custom, like vintage watches, I guess he was saying, like for Rolex. So I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But for me, I think the next watch is probably going to be a AP watch. But most importantly, I think I need to share this with you guys. At the end of the day, this is really not the flex, but it is the show that, you could do it. If a regular guy like me could do it, and if you have focus, there's a reason why that you want to get to a certain place, or there's something that you want. Look, always stay focused on that. It doesn't matter. You don't need to figure out how you're going to get there right now. Just visualize what you want. Eventually, you'll get there some way, somehow. And every day, there's probably a struggle. And I go through this myself with struggles. There's times where, like, I don't feel like working, and I'm not working full force. But if you do what needs to be done, just that little inch, right? It adds up. You'll get to where you want to be. But you always have to stay focused. And the drive needs to be there. Also, I wanted to say this. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart, right? This needs to be addressed because I would not be able to get this and all the things I currently have if it wasn't for you guys. And this is for real.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you guys haven't subscribed, you guys don't believe in me, you guys ain't calling me and the team, right? I would not be able to make this kind of money that I'm making today and get the things that I want and living the life that I want to live. But what I can share to you guys, it just really comes down to hard work. That's all it is. I mean, there's guys out there that are better than me, right? Smarter than me. But at the end of the day, if you have the tenacity, the drive, you have that focus on your big why, you will get there. That's all I'm saying. And I just want to say I really, really appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. And if you guys haven't had a chance to subscribe to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. All right. Other than that, peace. Much love.
Show the watch again, man. You gotta hit him with the watch.
Bam.
Gotta close on that. That's nice.